evening and welcome to News Watch on this first day of June 2021, a day when we commemorate when Kenya attained internal self-rule after being a British colony since 1920 to 1963. Thank you for choosing Hope TV, where you look and live. My name is Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. These are the day's stories. This year's Madaraka Day celebrations at the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium in Kisumu was a colorful affair. The fete featured heavily security presence from as early as 8 a.m. amidst queues of hundreds of curious onlookers, most of whom did not observe social distancing rules and other health protocols outlined by the Ministry of Health to curb the spread of COVID-19. Hundreds of residents gathered at the main bus stage in Kondele to cheer President Uhuru Kenyatta. The State House band, the Maroon Commandos, and renowned artists, mostly from the Nyanza region, kept the guests entertained before President Uhuru Kenyatta arrived.
Kenya's 58th Madaraka Day celebration marked the end of President Uhuru Kenyatta's working tour after presiding over the three-day tour launch and commissioning of mega project in Kisumu and Siaya counties. The celebrations, as well as the recent flurry of political activities, come at a time when Kisumu County is reeling from a surge in COVID-19 infections. The devolved unit was also the first to record cases of the Indian coronavirus variant. Security personnel blocked vehicles in human traffic from accessing parts of Jomo Kenyatta Highway and the Kisumu-Kakamega Road to give way to a number of dignitaries who started making their way to stadium in Mamboleo more than 2 hours before the arrival of President and his guest of honor, Burundian President Evariste Ndayishimiye. Hundreds of residents gathered at the main bus stage, Kibuye and Kondele, to cheer the president, expecting to be addressed by the head of state, who marks the national holiday in ODM chief Raila Odinga's political bastion. The State House band, the Maroon Commandos, and renowned artists mostly from the Nyanza region kept the guests entertained before President Kenyatta arrived. The Maroon Commandos band drawn from the 7 Kenya Rifle, while the crowd belting out tunes like Charonyi Niwasi tune. Uhuru's motorcade, accompanied by police outriders, went around the football field with the head of state riding atop the ceremonial commander-in-chief vehicle. He proceeded to inspect the guard of honor, closely escorted by the chief of the defense forces, Robert Kibochi. The entertainment segment was taken a notch higher when Jump Master Sami Tirop led paratrooper colleagues from the Green Eagles of Kenya Army in dropping while flying the Kenya flag. More entertainment was performed by a joint team of artists in praise of President Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, and the handshake that sent those in attendance, including President Kenyatta and his Burundi counterpart, into uncontrollable excitement. Reporting for Hope TV News Watch, I'm Dolly Murigi.
President Uhuru Kenyatta hit at the judiciary, accusing the institution of overstepping its mandate following nullification of the 2017 presidential election and the recent ruling by a 5-bench of the High Court declaring the Building Bridges Initiative Amendment Bill 2020 unconstitutional. In his address, Uhuru said that while he is eager to obey court orders, he is compelled by his position to listen to the people of Kenya's sovereign and supreme voice. Alice Diana now reports.
The judiciary was on the receiving end during this year's Madaraka Day celebrations as President Uhuru Kenyatta poked holes in the recent High Court ruling that declared the BBI process null and void. Speaking in Kisumu during the 58th Madaraka Day celebrations, Uhuru claimed that the judiciary had put Kenya's constitutional limits to the test by nullifying the 2017 general election and attempting to overturn the people's will through the BBI.
As a consequence of 2017, we initiated, together with millions of Kenyans, the BBI process that was meant to build bridges and create inclusive politics and end ethnic majoritarianism. The judiciary would have asked itself another question. Can Kenya truly be a democracy if the people are denied the opportunity to express their sovereign and supreme choice at the ballot box on the basis of elevating technicalities over the overriding objectives of the law?
Kenyatta emphasized the importance of a national conversation in Kenya focused on the consequences of choice and explained that the judiciary as an independent institution should be bound by the consequences of its decisions as well.
If the court had subjected its decision to stop BBI to a cost-benefit analysis, in other words, if it had considered the burden of choice, then there are questions the judiciary would have asked. If we indeed were at a constitutional moment, is a decision against BBI a decision in support of the status quo? If BBI were to be stopped, who carries the burden of choice? On whose shoulders will ethnic majoritarianism rest? And who will carry the burden of losing 30% of our national budget every 5 years due to the toxic politics that BBI sought to resolve?
While stating that BBI is meant to build bridges, create inclusive politics, and to end ethnic majoritarianism, the head of state noted that those opposing the bill do so because they cannot imagine a better Kenya for all.
Everyone knows that the BBI is good. It's good for our country. It is even good for those people who are unhappy with it. But too many Kenyans have embraced fear of change over the need to continuously strive for a more fair, just, peaceful, cohesive, and democratic Kenya. They oppose the bill sometimes not because of its substance, which even its harshest critics concede is good, but because, unlike our founding fathers, they cannot dare to imagine a better Kenya for all.
Former Prime Minister and ODM leader Raila Odinga, who noted that the handshake between him and Uhuru has given them an opportunity to bring Kenyans together and enhance development across the country, said the Building Bridges Initiative BBI is aimed at uniting Kenyans and to provide permanent solutions to the country's socio-economic challenges. He urged Kenyans to support the document that he said guaranteed a peaceful Kenya free of deeply rooted ethnic divisions.
Sasa tunasema tunataka tu mwendo mpya yale ambayo mmeanza. Hii mwanzo ni kwanza kuunganisha Wakenya wewe kama kitu kimoja. Bila hiyo hakuna maendeleo. Na hiyo ndio maana ya handshake ambayo tulifanya mimi na wewe. Ya kuleta Wakenya bila kuangalia wewe ni kabila hii au kabila hii, wewe ni Mkenya. Hiyo ndio sisi tunataka. Na tukifanya haya tutaweza kumudu mambo mengi zaidi.
Uhuru and Raila have already appealed the High Court's decision on the BBI judgment, hoping that the Court of Appeal will overturn the ruling by the Constitutional Court so as to ensure a national referendum is held as scheduled. A three-judge bench is expected to sit on Wednesday to give directions to parties in the BBI case. For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Alice Diana.
Thank you, Alice, for that report. Now, Kenyans have been urged to shun divisive politics as calls for unity dominated from Madaraka Day speeches held at the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium in Kisumu County. The 58th Madaraka Day celebrations brought together several dignitaries and political leaders, among them Deputy President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga. The two, who have been differing publicly, met for the first time after the nullification of the BBI ruling by the High Court calling for unity in the country. Dolly Murigi tells us more.
Madaraka Day celebration brought together several dignitaries and political leaders, among them Deputy President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga, who met face-to-face for the first time since the High Court ruling declared the Building Bridges Initiative-driven Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 unconstitutional. The two leaders have always differed on BBI-dismissed politics of ethnicity, with Raila Odinga in particular using the opportunity to root for BBI, which he said was a bridge to a united Kenya. He urged Kenyans to support the document that he said guaranteed a peaceful Kenya, free of deeply rooted ethnic divisions.
Hii mwanzo ni kwanza kuunganisha Wakenya wewe kama kitu kimoja. Bila hiyo hakuna maendeleo. Na hiyo ndio maana ya handshake ambayo tulifanya mimi na wewe.
On his part, Deputy President William Ruto, who graced the occasion even after being sidelined with President Kenyatta's working tour of Nyanza region, hailed President Kenyatta for various projects he launched in the region. The DP say the Jubilee development record stands out and is a testament that it is possible to develop Kenya equally and bring everyone on board.
I want to laud your 2 days launch of various projects in this county and in this region. It is a testimony that there is a government that works and delivers. And it goes to confirm two things. One, that a government that delivers is good for everybody, irrespective of how and who they voted for.
Ruto, however, called for adherence to the rule of law, warning against destroying the firm foundation for the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary. He said a country cannot succeed where there is disunity.
Because what you have done in this county, the administration that you lead, is a confirmation that Kenya, it is possible to develop Kenya equally and bring everybody on board.
Kisumu Governor Anyang' Nyong'o lauded the fruits of the handshake between ODM leader Raila Odinga and President Kenyatta, which had manifested across country through restoration of peace and unity. Dolly Murigi for Hope TV News Watch.
Thanks, Dolly. And as expected, politics took center stage at the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium during the Madaraka Day celebrations. As Dickens Luvanda tells us, President Kenyatta breached protocol after he broke the order of addressing by inviting ODM leader Raila Odinga after Deputy President William Ruto's speech.
Na kazi hiyo imewezekana kwa sababu tunasimama pamoja.
Tangu tuliposalimiana na yeye, amesimama kidete.
Former Prime Minister and ODM party leader Raila Odinga has undoubtedly stepped forward to fill the political vacuum created by the absence of Deputy President William Ruto in President Uhuru Kenyatta's remaining term. For the first time in many months, Raila, Ruto and President Uhuru Kenyatta came face to face at the Madaraka Day Fete in Kisumu, a national celebration that saw various invited leaders in attendance. During the event, President Uhuru Kenyatta breached protocol by inviting Odinga to deliver his speech after DP Ruto had already delivered his speech.
And it goes to confirm.
Ordinarily, the Deputy President is expected to invite the President to address the nation, after which nobody else speaks. But this did not happen during the 58th Madaraka Day celebration. After a short speech during the event held at the newly constructed Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium, DP Ruto invited his boss President Kenyatta to address the nation. But when it was his turn to address the Madaraka Day celebration, Kenyatta invited ODM leader Raila Odinga to speak.
Sasa leo nitavunja protocol kidogo, mtanisamehe. Ningependa mbele ya niseme yale ambaye niko naye, nimualike ndugu yangu Raila Amolo Odinga, Jacob, awasalimie na awapatie salamu zake za madaraka. Karibu ndugu yangu.
Sasa tunasema tunataka tu mwanzo mpya yale ambayo mmeanza. Hii mwanzo ni kwanza kuunganisha Wakenya wewe kama kitu kimoja.
Raila, who has no formal position in President Kenyatta's administration, aside from being a pillar of political reconciliation through the handshake and the quest to amend the 2010 constitution through the BBI, was the man of the moment in Kisumu on Monday after he, alongside Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Rachel Omamo, received visiting Burundian President Evariste Ndayishimiye on behalf of President Kenyatta.
Mheshimiwa Rais, tuna furaha kubwa sana kuwa hapa. Walinituma niwaambie kwamba wanapenda nchi ya Kenya. Nilikuwa nasikia Kisumu kwa masikio, nilikuwa sijaona huyu mji.
In his speech during Madaraka Day feast, DP Ruto praised the president for launching development projects during his 3-day visit to the Nyanza region, a tour that Uhuru was accompanied by Raila.
I want to laud your 2 days launch of various projects in this county and in this region. It is a testimony that there is a government that works and delivers.
President Kenyatta and Raila Odinga on Sunday set the tone when they rallied Nyanza residents to back the BBI process so as to amend the constitution, an initiative that Ruto is opposed to. Dickens Olvanda, Hope TV News Watch.
Thank you, Deacons, for that report on COVID-19 numbers today. 349 people have tested positive for the disease from a sample size of 4,208 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate is now 8.3%. Total confirmed positive cases are now 171,084, and cumulative tests so far conducted are 1,815,766. 176 patients have recovered, 144 from the home-based and isolation care, while 32 are from various health facilities. Total recoveries now stand at 117,023. 16 people are reported to have succumbed to the disease, with all of them being late death reports from facility record audits conducted on diverse dates in the months of April and May. This now pushes the cumulative fatalities to 3,188. 1,257 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities, while 4,704 patients are under the home-based isolation and care program. 92 patients are in the ICU, 21 of whom are on ventilatory support and 54 on supplemental oxygen. 17 patients are under observation. Let's now take our first commercial break on News Watch tonight. Keep it Hope TV, where you look and live.
shortest chapter in the Bible is Psalm 117, which says, "The Lord's truth endures forever." Now, that word truth in the Hebrew language is emeth, and the Jewish scholars and doctors tell us that that word's really interesting because it contains the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph, the middle letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Mem, and the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is Tau. And they say that's because the Alpha and Omega has a truth that is our comfort all in all from A to Z. In the same way, the Bible says that God is the author and the finisher of our faith. Paul said, "He who began a good work in you will be faithful to finish it." Now, that word for finish or complete is the word telestai in Greek, the same word that Jesus used on the cross when he said, "Te telestai, it is finished." Paul hijacked that word and was saying, as surely as Jesus carried his cross to completion, so too the Alpha and Omega will telestai, finish the work that he's begun in you. God is not just somebody who starts a project, he's somebody who finishes it to perfection. He's faithful all in all from A to Z, the Alpha and the Omega.
Welcome back. As the world continues to find ways to improving mental health, we take a look into schizophrenia in depth. Our reporter Faith Imani Mugo had a chat with Dr. Eva Musheru to find out what schizophrenia is all about, what causes the disease, and how to get treatment. Take a look.
The next thing among the positive symptoms, in addition to hallucinations, are delusions. Delusions are false, unshakable beliefs that are not in keeping with the individual's education background or their cultural background.
As the world continues to mark the Mental Health Awareness Month this May, a large proportion of society is still unaware of medical advancements and numerous treatments available to manage schizophrenia. Dr. Musheru tells us more about schizophrenia, what it is, and what really causes the condition.
Schizophrenia is a mental disorder. The cause of schizophrenia is not known, but it has been found that schizophrenia does run in families, so that there is a genetic predisposition to developing schizophrenia. Schizophrenia could be triggered by the use of substances, especially cannabis. Cannabis is, in common man's language, bangi. They also call it pot, and it can trigger an episode of schizophrenia.
In order to diagnose this mental-related condition, a thorough observation of characteristic signs and symptoms is essential.
Once the patient is seen by the doctor will take a history to find out how long this person has been having these symptoms. In schizophrenia, you need the hallucinations, the delusions I've talked about, for at least more than a month.
Who is most affected?
Schizophrenia is a condition, specifically a disorder, that does not choose the age, but usually it does manifest in young adults, earlier in males than females, but it can also manifest later on in life after the age of 45.
The societal pressure and stigma associated with this condition often does not end well if not well taken care of, and can land the patient to even harsher effects to the people around them, as Dr. Musheru says.
They will see things that don't exist. So there might be a person, but the person appears like a snake, for example. Then they may want to kill the snake and end up killing the person. The other thing is, they may hear voices of people threatening them. It is not very comfortable for you to have people who are threatening you. So you want to defend yourself. So what would be the next thing? It is for you to reach out and try and attack these people.
A cross-sectional study on factors associated with relapse in patients with schizophrenia at Mathare Hospital here in Nairobi, Kenya, between June and July 2021 showed that relapse rates vary from 50% to 92% and are similar in both developed and developing countries, despite the former having well-established mental health services. This cross-sectional descriptive study involved 209 family members or significant others accompanying patients to Mathare Hospital. So, is there hope for people with schizophrenia?
The reason why the psychiatrist is because you need treatment. As I told you, you have various chemicals, one of which is dopamine. So how do you manage the dopamine levels? Then you would need some medication, which your psychiatrist will discuss with you. They will discuss with you how the medication works, the side effects, and they would also want to involve a psychologist when the patient is better.
The diagnosis and treatment will, however, depend heavily with the support of family members and close friends to the affected person, as it is not always easy for the person affected to understand on their own when affected, as Dr. Musheru says.
We are talking about early identification of symptoms, early treatment, and rehabilitation of these clients. Then, as much as possible, the patients would also require a support group, a place where they can go and meet clients with similar diagnosis. And they talk to one another, encourage one another, and they're able to know that they're not the only ones. And that universality, the fact that I'm not alone, keeps them on treatment.
Faith Imani Mugo for Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Faith, for that informative feature. Now, athletes in Eldoret town and its surroundings might, in the next few months, have better training facilities as construction works for 64 stadia are set to begin. With construction of Kipchoge Keino Stadium also ongoing, Eldoret, famed for being the city of champions, will have 2 state-of-the-art stadia in which athletes, many of whom are currently training along the roads, will benefit from. A contractor for the 64 stadia has also moved to site after the county government of Uasin Gishu secured a 1.1 billion Kenya shillings loan from World Bank to facilitate construction of the stadium. County's sports executive Joseph Kurgat led other CECs in handing over the site for the project, expected to be complete within the next 15 months. Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago had previously promised to deliver the over 30,000 stadium capacity before the end of this term in 2022.
We have the many youths whom we have also trained in various areas. So when it comes to labor, we want to kindly request that consider them also. We have the manual jobs, these are the jobs, and as a county we have trained many of our youths, and they are gifted, they are talented. I'm sure when you involve them in the whole process, ultimately they'll also benefit.
We need a project completed and in good condition and in good quality. So maybe what we have to add is that I want to urge the public works team to work together with the consultant and ensure that the project is delivered. This is a flagship project that is very important to this government and particularly to the county governor, that we have this stadium for our people who are champions in sports.
We want our project to be delivered at the end of it with the best quality standard. And it must meet the standard of AK and also World Athletic.
We believe that the construction of this stadium is going to support the youth in this particular part of town and also in the rest of the county, and also to bring out the sportsmanship that Eldoret is very well known for.
And I want to assure you that before 2022, we shall have a world-class stadium in 64 stadiums. Hiyo ndio ilikuwanga stadium ya kunacha talents zamani, lakini imezofika kidogo, lakini kama serikali ya county, because that's our mandate, we are going to work on that stadium and bring back its glory. We also want to caution any medical institution in this county that will be found to have colluded to those who are administering drugs to athletes or any pharmacy, you can be rest assured, if you are indicted, we shall deal with you firmly as the county government in prosecution.
Across borders, gunmen have attacked and wounded Uganda's transport minister and former army commander General Katumba Wamala, killing his daughter and driver. Witnesses say men on motorbikes fired several shots at their vehicle near their home in the capital, Kampala. According to the army, phone calls potentially linked to planning the assassination attempt are being investigated. Video footage from the scene in Kiasasi showed the former army chief visibly shaken and covered in blood being rushed to hospital on the back of a motorbike. Soldiers are guarding the hospital where he is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. He is regarded as one of Uganda's most respected politicians and military men. General Wamala was previously a police chief as well as an army commander. Leadership elections for the Pan-African Parliament descended into chaos on Monday as lawmakers disagreed over whether the presidency should be rotated by region. Several lawmakers chanted no rotation, no elections, expressing a demand for regional rotation of leadership positions. At one point, some MPs demanded the police be called in. The parliament sits for 3 weeks, twice a year, at its headquarters in Midrand, located between the South African capital Pretoria and Johannesburg. Formed in 2004, the Assembly in the legislative branch of the African Union, but in reality it is merely a consultative body. Its members are elected through their national legislatures. ANC Chief Whip Pemi Majodina said she was going to open a criminal case after being kicked allegedly by Senegalese Djibril Ngwa, who is also a member of parliament. Peru has more than doubled its COVID death toll following a review, making it the country with the world's highest death rate per capita, according to Johns Hopkins University data. The official death toll is now more than 180,000, up from 69,342 in a country of about 33 million people. Peru has been one of the worst hit countries in Latin America, resulting in an overstretched healthcare system and a lack of oxygen tanks. It has registered 1.9 million infections in total. Let us take our second commercial break on News Watch tonight. Business and sports news is coming up.
The shortest chapter in the Bible is Psalm 117, which says, "The Lord's truth endures forever." Now, that word truth in the Hebrew language is emeth, and the Jewish scholars and doctors tell us that that word's really interesting because it contains the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, aleph, the middle letter of the Hebrew alphabet, mem, and the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is tau. And they say that's because the Alpha and Omega has a truth that is our comfort all in all from A to Z. In the same way, the Bible says that God is the author and the finisher of our faith. Paul said, "He who began a good work in you will be faithful to finish it." Now, that word for finish or complete is the word telestai in Greek, the same word that Jesus used on the cross when he said, "Te telestai, it is finished." Paul hijacked that word and was saying, as surely as Jesus carried his cross to completion, so too the Alpha and Omega will telestai, finish the work that he's begun in you. God is not just somebody who starts a project, he's somebody who finishes it to perfection. He's faithful all in all from A to Z, the Alpha and the Omega.
Welcome to Activate.
It's a good morning! Good morning!
Kickstart your day with George and Kerry on the Sweet Hour of Prayer.
And welcome to Activate, this being the station where you listen and live Hope FM.
From Nairobi to the world.
Great music just for you.
Activate.
The only show that keeps you activated!
Yes, indeed.
Activate. Every weekday morning from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Only on Hope FM, where you listen and live. Join John Cosson every weekday as he takes us on a journey through the Bible.
Whoever shall seek to save his life, if you go back to living for yourself, you're going to lose it. But whoever shall lose his life, give up his life for my sake, he shall preserve it.
Enjoy interesting, knowledge-packed, yet simple teachings through his humor and in-depth understanding of God's Word.
The last people that tried to put God in a box, literally, he rose again. He wouldn't stay in their compartment. If God was small enough for me to figure out, he wouldn't be big enough for me to worship.
Tune in to Hope TV for John Cosson every 10 p.m., 4 a.m., and 10 a.m. weekdays on Hope TV, where you look and live.
let's continue with business. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta, during the Madaraka Day celebrations, said he's focusing his efforts to improve the lives of Kenyans through investment in critical infrastructure projects, which he termed the big push investments as the foundation of economic takeoff. In his speech during this year's Madaraka Day celebrations, the president singled out construction of Lamu Port, revival of 566 kilometers of the meter gauge railway, rehabilitation of the port of Kisumu, and the reconditioning of the MV Uhuru vessel as some of the big push investments that will transform the lives of Kenyans. The president also spoke on the restoration of dignity as the third frame that his administration has focused on in order to create an enabling environment where every Kenyan will have access to essential goods and services.
We have revived 566 kilometers of dead meter gauge railway. The revived 200-kilometer Nairobi-Nyanyuki railway will be a game changer. Every trip, the train will transport 1,600 passengers, which is equivalent to a convoy of 120 matatus. And the cost per passenger will be Kenya shillings 200 compared to current Kenya shillings 500 by matatu. Although it takes a little longer by train, the passenger will make a 60% saving using the revived rail system and have more money left in his pocket, while at the same time traveling at greater comfort and safety. Further, by moving our tea and coffee through this line at greatly reduced costs, the result is extra shillings in the pockets of our hard-working farmers.
And in sports, Kenya football giants Gor Mahia have leapt to position 4 on the FKF Premier League table after recording a slender 1-0 win over Wazito in a match staged at the Utalii grounds in Nairobi. And Sergio Aguero is joining Barcelona from Manchester City on a deal until the end of the 2022-2023 season after the star was unveiled at the Nou Camp after signing his contract yesterday. Japan's tennis player Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from the French Open following the bitter fallout from her decision to boycott all media activity. That and more in our sports update with Joseph Maingi.
KPL record champions Gor Mahia yesterday beat Wazito by a solitary goal in a rescheduled FKF Premier League match staged at the Utalii grounds in Nairobi. While host Wazito dominated the first half, Gor Mahia, who finished the match with 10 men after Samuel Onyango was sent off in the 93rd minute, returned stronger in the second period and scored the match lone goal 8 minutes to time through substitute Joles Walimwengu. The slim win saw Kogalo gain more ground on the top side as they leapfrogged Kariobangi Sharks into the 4th position with 31 points thanks to a superior goal difference. Tusker, who have played 18 matches, lead the log with 38 points, and Wazito, who have a match in hand, remain 10th with 23 points.
Sydney Wahongo wote hao wa timu ya Gor Mahia waliambiwa na Vance Pinto waingie uwanjani ili kwenda kubadilisha mchezo huu. Pasi hiyo ilitolewa kwa Jules Ulimwengu, akatokea hapa Levi Sopio, akaangalia amelemea upande gani, akakuta amelemea upande wa kushoto.
Elsewhere, Barcelona has confirmed that Manchester City striker Sergio Kun Aguero will join the club on the 1st of next month when his contract with the Premier League side expires. The Argentine international Aguero joined City from a Spanish side Atletico Madrid in 2011 and went on to become the club's all-time leading scorer after netting 260 goals and helped his side to claim 5 Premier League titles. Barcelona said that the Argentine will sign a 2-year deal with a €1 million buyout clause. Aguero is expected to be the first of a number of arrivals at the Camp Nou this summer as President Joan Laporta looks to revamp the squad that finished third in the La Liga. In tennis,
World number 2 tennis player Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from the French Open after the controversy over her refusal to speak to the media at the tournament. In a tweet announcing the move, Osaka also said that she had suffered a long bout of depression since winning her first Grand Slam title in 2018. The 23-year-old said last week she would not do news conferences at the Roland Garros to protect her mental health. On Sunday, Osaka won her opening match against Romanian Patricia Maria in straight sets and was fined $15,000 for not doing post-match media. That's your sports. I'm Joseph Maingi.
Thank you, Joseph Maingi. And it's a wrap for Newswatch tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. God willing, join us tomorrow, same place, same time. Have a good night, and God bless you.